Hello, everyone. As you might know, I am in Toronto and I'm very happy to be talking to a storyteller from Vancouver, BC today. Hi, Jeff. How are you?
Good. How about you?
I'm good. You are going to be on the show this Sunday, December 13th. You're going to be telling a story on the theme of DNA. So first of all, thank you.
Thank you.
I am going to read your bio and we can go from there. So
Okay.
you used to fantasize about writing the great Canadian novel, but you were stymied by an increasingly short attention span. So instead, you satisfy your creative urges by writing short stories and humor essays. Your nonfiction work has appeared in LGBT anthologies, local arts and culture publications, and on CBC Radio One, including a series as the fearless and fumbling correspondent on the early edition in Vancouver. You were also a finalist in the 2019 Vancouver Story Slam Championship. So I think you know a thing or two about story, and I can confirm. I'm very excited for people to hear your story on Sunday. So how did that all start? Why did you start telling stories in front of people?
So there's a couple of factors. One is I think I do that naturally. If you speak to my partner or any of my close friends, they'll say I'm always telling stories. I'm kind of the type of person who's like, that reminds me of the time when I was 6 years old, and I'll go into some story. So I do it naturally. In terms of the short storytelling, so I've been writing on and off in various capacities, as you indicated in my bio, for 20, 30 years. And I stopped for a while. So a lot of that work that I did for the anthologies and on CBC Radio One was years ago. And then I kind of stopped writing. And then my partner and I, we started hosting these cultural salons in my house. And, you know, people can play music, read poetry, tell stories, whatever they want to do, dance. And I started telling some of the stories I had already written, and I started writing some new stories. And again, they were always very short. And then a friend introduced me to the Vancouver Story Slam, and that seemed like a really natural fit. And again, it was a way for me to sort of express my creativity. I think writing's really the only thing I'm good at in creatively. I'm not a painter. I can't sing. I can't dance. Yeah. So, and again, like I said, it sort of satisfies my creative urges for now anyway.
Right. Okay, great. And so I'm curious about the storytelling scene in Vancouver. Are there like a bunch of shows?
I'm not aware of very many. There's two. Well, there's the Story Slam. There were a couple of other ones that were short-lived. There's another one called The Flame, which I've
Right.
only been to once. So I don't think it seems like there's a really robust storytelling scene in Toronto for sure.
Yeah.
In Vancouver, I'm not as aware of it so much, and I just started doing it, I guess, sometime in 2018, and then 2019 I was really just focusing on the Vancouver Story Slam, and then this year was the year that I was going to start exploring other storytelling opportunities in the local scene, and then COVID hit. So
Mm.
most of those have been postponed for now. Yeah.
Right. So you, at the beginning of the year, you had this idea or a goal that you were going to look into more like other shows or?
Yeah, particularly those that are non-competitive. I mean, the Story Slam is great. I love it. I have to give a shout out to Susan Cormier, who produces it. She's amazing, and just the way she supports people and artists. But I was interested in, when you're doing the Story Slams, you're competing, so you're thinking, okay, this is a great story. This is a winner. So you're trying to do something that's really entertaining people.
Right.
And I start to find that kind of limiting and thinking, that's why being in your show is great. And most of the stories that I tell in the Story Slam have been, with the exception of one, they've all been humorous. And I thought, so this is an opportunity to tell a story that's from the heart and more serious, and not worry about winning or losing. So yeah, again, thanks for this opportunity.
Oh yeah, my pleasure. So
Yeah.
I'm especially glad to have you tell your story on the show, because without giving out too much about it, it does give a different perspective on the idea of family. So yes, I'm very excited.
Yeah.
Is there anything you would like to add before we say goodbye?
No, just again, thanks for the opportunity, and it's great. This story is more heartfelt. So, I think whenever you're telling a story, you're always being vulnerable, particularly even if it's a funny story, you're telling a vulnerable, like most of my stories have been crazy things that have happened to me, fumbling through life, but this one is more heartfelt. So it's going to be an interesting experience for me, just delving more into my vulnerability. And again, that's, I know, one of the overall themes of your show. So yeah, so I'm excited
Great.
and
Oh,
nervous.
yeah. Oh, good. That's a good
Nervous about being
combination.
vulnerable.
Someone said to me recently, it's okay to be nervous. It just means that it matters. And so, yeah.
Yeah, I'll just leave with one little aside. When you say that it's okay to be nervous, and it's true that Bryant Ross, who's Susan's partner, I said one before a storytelling show one time, he said, and I have to credit him for this. I said, "Oh, I'm really nervous. I'm really nervous." He said, "That's good." And he said, and he told the story of how he always gets nervous as well. And somebody said, "Oh, you don't seem nervous." He goes, "No, I'm still nervous." Somebody said, "You don't seem to have any butterflies." And he went, "No, I have butterflies. I've just taught them to fly in formation."
Oh,
So I
nice.
kind of like that, like to really use that nervousness and use those butterflies to your advantage.
Yeah. Oh, I love that.
I know.
Yeah. So actually, I'm going to ask you one last question. For people who have never told stories and who might not be familiar with that art form even, would you recommend it? Why? What would you want to tell them?
Oh boy. Yeah, I mean, I think everybody is a natural storyteller. Um, and a lot of the people, so a lot of friends have gotten involved in the Vancouver Story Slam, and they haven't necessarily been writers. And I think it takes a while to really learn structure, but I think we all have those stories in us, and I'm encouraging friends all the time, like, sign up for the storytelling show and tell your story, because some people have really amazing stories to tell. I mean, mine tend to be humorous, but other people have just amazingly um, just really inspiring stories. Share those stories with people. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're going to receive so much when you tell a story. But, some people might think, oh, who am I to tell a story? It's not going to be interesting to anybody. But actually, like, if you're just vulnerable and share details, it's actually the little things that we can relate to, the everyday, the mundane. And you're going to make people feel seen as long as you talk about what you feel in that moment, and then what happens, and people are going to be like, oh, what?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And those stories resonate, and they resonate with people. Like, people have stories to share that will resonate with other people.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right, well, thank you so much for talking to me today. Looking forward to the show, and yeah, I'll talk to you
Yeah,
soon.
me
Thanks,
too.
Jeff.
Okay, thanks so much. Bye-bye.
Bye.